Welcome to CVFM Radio. It's Thursday evening and it's the community show. You can catch us this evening on 104.5, coming out to you on the airways of Middlesbrough. We're also on Facebook Live and YouTube. So we're streaming for the next 60 minutes across the network. And my colleague, Martin Pegham, is joining me here in the studios. Hello, Martin.
Hello there, Anne. And I have to say yet again, your garden looks magnificent.
It does. You know, it's I must be in a different time zone because it looks like I'm actually there's sunshine in my life. There's always sunshine, Martin.
Exactly, that's true. No, we're looking forward to a great programme this evening, aren't we?
We really are. And I'm hoping to get Glenda coming into the stream. I don't know where she is yet. So Glenda's going to be joining us. Now, this evening, we do have our guest that's sitting in the stream, well, sitting in the green room at the moment. We've got Cllr Garvey. He's actually going to be joining us in a moment. And Martin, what else are we talking about this evening?
We're talking, it's coming up on Tuesday, it's the annual Burn Supper, celebration of everything Scottish, and I know you love Scotland, and so we thought we'd get everybody ready for it by having our own Burn Supper. So there's my happy meat, and if you're watching on Facebook, you can see my Burn Supper, and we'll be raising a glass, and we'll be talking as well about coming up event with Holocaust Memorial Day, which is next week. We don't want anybody to miss out.
Can I just say, Martin, and we've got Glenda in the feed. Hello, Glenda. Can I just say, that looks a little bit of an alcohol there. Have you actually had a sip of that alcohol?
I had more than a sip of this delightful whiskey, I have to say. But it's all right, because I've now got a cup of tea, so I'm sobering up, you know.
Well, it's a good job you are sobering up. And Glenda, how are you this evening?
I'm rather well, thank you very much.
Oh, fantastic. So, Martin, tell us a little bit about the guests that we've got coming on.
Well, we've got Cllr Garvey, and Lee Garvey is no stranger to this programme. Now, he come interview if you're watching on Facebook. He's actually waving to us as well. Cllr for Berwick Hills Road, Lee?
Berwick Hills and Pallister.
There you are. Both words don't mention either of them because they get really upset. And just lately, Lee's been very busy trying to find a Doctor Who phone box. So we'll be chatting to him about that. Okay, but also some more important things.
And also as well is that he's actually homeschooling as well. So tell us, Lee, how is homeschooling going at the moment?
Now, if you're listening on the radio, Lee is bashing his head on the desk. A feeling which will be very familiar to an awful lot of people out there doing homeschooling. So, Lee, how's it going?
Do you know what? It's opened my eyes to what teachers do and how they do it, because to command a classroom takes a special person, but to command, I mean, as vice chair of the council and chair of the Children, Young People, Social Care and Services Scrutiny Panel, I know how hard it is to command a room, but to command a virtual room is virtually impossible. and I've sat and listened to some of the lessons that have been going on, and I've been so impressed with the teaching. I mean, some of them where I haven't even realised that I was actually joining in with the lesson, like sitting thinking, and it got me thinking. And what was I doing? And it really is a difficult thing to do. But some of the teachers that I've been listening to online have just nailed it. They're just brilliant.
And your daughters, they go to two separate schools, don't they?
Yes, my oldest daughter Alex, who's 13, she goes to Ormsby Outwood. When we choosing schools, the obvious choice from St Pius would have been Trinity, but we heard that Outwood had a better SEN arranged because Alex has Asperger's. So Alex went there, and then when Elizabeth went to secondary school, she's now 12. She went with her friends to Trinity. So we've got two sort of nearly a teenager and a nearly teenager, 2 separate schools. And it's interesting to see the difference between how the 2 schools do the online learning. And I think one of them was really good and has been really good. And I think the other one's just starting to catch up, I think, as they get used to it. So
we won't name names. We'll let them know the catching up. But, I mean, we hear so much, Lee, about national curriculum and education being standardised across the country. But presumably, seeing 2 schools, and you say operating slightly differently, you must see firsthand how the individual teacher makes a big difference.
Without any doubt. And I think anybody who knows anything about education knows how important the teacher is in the classroom. And I think through education, I think with academies and trusts and all this, I think we've slightly lost sight of how important the teacher is. When it comes to education, the teacher should be first, always.
I must admit, looking at various friends of mine who've got children in school, the one common theme seems to be teachers are heavily underpaid, and my God, when can we get the kids back in front of them? I mean, parents are really appreciating what teachers do, aren't they?
Yeah, I think, I've been seeing teachers have been underpaid for a long time now, because I'm a socialist type, and I think they've been underpaid for a long time. And this, what's going on now, has sort of added to the responsibilities and added to the skills, the skill set, and everything else. And it is about time. I think the teacher's got a pay rise, to be honest.
And one of the things that has been nice to see is BBC have been running these bite-sized programs for the kids. And I have to say, I'm tuning in. I like watching them. I'm learning things. I didn't know how the early angles added up inside an isosceles triangle. I'm
not even sure I know what one is. I tell you
missed the first program then.
I must have done. Some of the things that the kids are being taught now would leave even the most educated. I think there was a lady who had a PhD on Twitter. A name escapes me now, but she's a PhD. She's a doctor, and she said she's watched this home learning from the school, and she's baffled, which made me feel a lot better, to be honest.
So when you're not homeschooling, Lee, you must have been doing something else. What have you been up to as a councillor? Come on. I mean, they elected you to do something. What have you been doing?
Well, I think with the lockdown, I think it's left a lot of people taking care of their admin side of life, because life is so hard and we all work so many hours that sometimes we just haven't got time to do things like, properly complain or properly put something in that needs doing. And I'm really going to think this out and do it. So I've had a lot of people come to me and say, right, okay, I'm sick of this happening. I'm sick of that happening. We need to change it. So it's my job to get onto the council and say, right, why hasn't this changed? Why hasn't this been dealt with? What can we do here? How can this be resolved? Why hasn't this been resolved yet? And it's been like there's been an uptake in people coming to me for help, for advice, to complain, which is everybody's right to complain. And if you feel you need to complain, because 9 times out of 10 that complaint can lead to something being put right. It's all about solutions. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So it's been interesting this last year where I've been, I haven't been working. There's been no work about for me for my business.
Yeah, so but you're a photographer, aren't you, by profession?
Yeah, by chart. Yeah, I'm a wedding photographer, stroke events photographer. So there's been more or less nothing on. I think I had 3 weddings last year, where I would have had about 35, 45 weddings. So it's been a big change in my life. So I was elected, and then after the first year, not even the first year, in comes COVID and changes my life completely, to the point where I feel as if I've gone from one profession to another when I should be doing both. So, but it's been good in a way, because I've been able to put more time into being a councillor. And I will say, and I've said this to the mayor, and I've said it to the deputy mayor, being a councillor should be a full-time position.
Because I'm going to ask you that, Lee, because there are people that would like to see councillors full time, nothing else. The other argument is, you've got the experience of your work background, but you feel it should be a full time job, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, as a self-employed person with a business, I can represent people in Middlesbrough who are self-employed and have businesses. That's the good thing about it. But being not having any work to do this year has meant I'd spend more time being a counsellor. Now, if I'd had all my weddings this year and in the summer, then I wouldn't have had as much time to spend being a counsellor. But that would be well within my right. But yeah. It's enabled me to spend more time being a counsellor, and it's made me realise that you can do as little or as much as you like as a counsellor. You really can, and I've been able to do a lot this year and get a lot done.
Good. So what you've been up to then? Tell us what are the big topics? I know you presumably the report that came in last year about child services in the council, that's been occupying your mind, has it?
Yeah, well, I chair the Children and Young People's Social Care and Scrutiny Panel. So it's our job to basically look into topics and find out how the council are doing certain things, if we could do it better. If we're doing it well, we're doing it well, that sort of thing. So we take on every topic every month. We have a work plan of what we're going to go through. And obviously, we were doing that in the first year, or just under a year. And what happened was, obviously, Ofsted came in and basically tore the paper up and said, we need to start again. But the first year was all about learning how to scrutinise. So we didn't really know how to do it properly in the first year. So now we do. We're now scrutinising the changes that are being put in place within children's services, which are, it's like a big boat turning round slowly, but we are turning it round. We recently had an MP, a government minister, acknowledge what we'd done in the turnaround, and we came very close to losing children's services or losing control of, and we've managed to make the changes necessary to keep hold of them. So I know it's not perfect. I don't think it ever will be perfect, but it's going in the right direction again, and it hasn't been for quite a while.
And it might be very difficult to be able to do that now, to change it all around. At the same time, presumably the pandemic has put an awful lot of pressure, particularly on vulnerable children. Have you found that the demands on social services have gone up while you're still trying to change the system? Demands been going up. What you call it, without sounding too sort of empty or soulless, demand's been going up for a while. It hasn't stopped going up for a long time. With COVID, I think what it's allowed the council to do is react in a way and make changes, because it's changed anyway. And it's very difficult when you're setting your ways and you're doing something to change it completely without missing bits. But because of COVID, I think it's allowed the council to make those changes in lifetime, if you know what I mean. Like, they're making the changes as they're going with COVID, because COVID is so restrictive, and it is restrictive for everybody. But what's being changed, it is going to benefit everybody after COVID as well as now. Well, I have to tell you, while you're talking, you're getting your fan club, because we're getting comments shooting across the screen here saying Councillor Garvey is one of the most amazing men I've met. What a great representative and help to the community. And oh, hang on, and ask them, will a £10 be in the post? No, seriously. Somebody called Tally Norfolk.
Can I just say as well, Lee, is that the council have been very, very forward thinking, and have actually been at times led nationally as well, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, even if you go from children's services to the businesses that we have in the town, during the first lockdown, I was getting people coming to me and saying, "This is seamless. This is seamless. What they're dealing with the council, it's seamless." Now, I'm not one who'll sit here and blow smoke up, the council. If it's wrong, it's wrong. I'm somebody who says when it's wrong. But when people are coming to you and there's a pattern of people saying oh, that was easy, that was seamless. You think, yeah, brilliant. And the first lockdown, when it came to businesses, was a big thumbs up for Middlesbrough Council. It really was. It went from strength to strength.
And also as well is that you were actually still feeding the school children as well, weren't you?
Yeah, there's been so many, not just the council, but within Middlesbrough, there's been so many groups springing up who want to help. From the TS3 Toy Appeal with Gary, I keep calling it the Middlebeck, but he'll kill me for saying that. It's I can't remember what they call it now. I used to work there as a kid. I was a glass collector, so it'll always be the Middlebeck. And then you've got the White Feather project. The guys there, absolutely unbelievable, and Borough looking after Borough. So I found myself getting more involved with the voluntary sector than I did with what the council were doing, because I knew that what was going on there it didn't need my help. You know, you'd signpost people to different places, but when you see the amount of help that was out there, especially over Christmas, and it's still going on now, you just think, wow.
You've just got an acknowledgement there. Councillor Garvey has been an amazing support to the White Feather project. Just come up across the screen. I mean, there was a lot of publicity about feeding children, the school meals, fiascos and baskets and everything, and a lot of it was just hype. So locally, I got the impression that the council, voluntary organisations, schools themselves were actually sorting the problem out, and it didn't merit this, you know, the world is coming to an end. It was actually being dealt with locally. Is that the case?
I think it was. They had teething problems. The vouchers from the schools, that was a bit of a teething problem at first. But it's simply one of those things that when something comes out, when anything comes out, first of all, there are teething problems. So when it comes out during a pandemic and it's an emergency sort of system put in place, you're going to get a lot of teething problems. But a lot of schools. I'm a governor at Pallister Park, and Pallister Park did their own. They did everything. They did all their administration on they did everything themselves, and it was flawless. It was absolutely flawless.
Yeah.
But the idea of children going hungry, I think it stems from, it's got into like the holidays, and a lot of people. I don't think, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I don't think a lot of people in our town understand poverty. There's a lot of people who are in poverty who don't even know they're in poverty, because the definition of poverty is so, it can be anything, and you know, there is no actual definitive phrase for poverty. But anyone like myself, at the end of the month, the bank's empty and I have to wait again for payday. And I've been like that for many a year, and so I know what it's like. But there are people in our town who don't even get to the end of the month to wait for payday. They have to save up to be poor. I think that was I can't remember whose joke that was, but it's not a joke. People do actually have to save up to be poor in our area, and I think a lot of people have recognised that, and they're coming together and they're helping. There's help everywhere now. Everywhere you look, there's help. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant for me, because I can send people anywhere that I know there's help, and say, I don't have to go looking for it and phone somebody and say, where can we get this person help? I already know where to send them, because there's so much out there. But it's recognising poverty and admitting. I think people find it hard to admit when they're in poverty, because they just don't know.
Lee, can I just say that I have got one of my neighbours, their daughter actually travels to Middlesbrough to busk. And she was saying that Middlesbrough folk are one of the most generous people in the whole of the northeast of England, because she goes up and down the northeast of England busking, and she said the Middlesbrough people are the most generous. And has it really been noted more that Middlesbrough people do look after each other?
I think that's evident. I mean, just by looking at what's gone on in the town, and I know at Christmas time a lot of these things do happen, but it's carrying on. It's still going. it started off with feeding the elderly during the first phase of the pandemic in the early stages, getting food parcels out to the elderly, getting parcels of things to do for them, magazines and things like that, and actually somebody knocking on somebody's door saying, "Hi, I've got something for you," can be the difference. That might be the only face that they'll have seen in a couple of weeks, and people were just going out and just giving up the time. I mean, recently there's a lot of volunteers, and there's a lot of people who volunteer a lot of the time, and these people are absolutely priceless. They're absolute the gems of this town. But there's people sometimes who volunteer who you don't expect to. So I went out to the White Feather project. It was I think Andy went, and then I went. And while I was there, there's a lad I know, and I just would not have had him down as volunteering to do something like this. And he just said, "I had to put some holidays into Workley, so I'm here." I was like, wow. He was forced to go on holiday because he had his holidays to take. So he volunteered at the White Feather. And I'm like, I wouldn't have had you down as doing this, but good on you, you know what I mean? Like, well done.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things.
It's changing a lot of people, isn't it? Because a lot of people are, they've got time, which they didn't have before, and they see there's a problem going on, and they're frustrated, so they're doing something about it. And it might be 5 minutes, it might be days, whatever it is. People are getting it, and some people are doing it from home. They're organising other people are going out there and doing something. I mean, is it going to be a permanent change, Lee? Are we going to get to the end of the pandemic and then everybody's going to go back to how they were, or will it actually carry on, do you think?
I think it has to at the moment, and like, to make it not too political, we're coming to a decade of a government who seem to. There seem to be, well, whenever they're in government, they're hard on this area. Let's just say that, and they've made it hard for people to claim benefits. They've made it hard for people to basically. They've made it hard to be poor, and I was having this conversation with somebody today. I spoke to a lady who is she's what I would call an end user. She uses children's services. She helps people. She gives people a lot of advice. I met her through Parents for Change, which is another voluntary organisation that is just amazing. And we were speaking today for an hour and a half on children's services, on what she wanted to do. And I said to her, I said, we can have all these ideas, but the main problem seems to be, if you go back to the 1997 onwards, things started to get better. I mean, pardon the pun with the song, things can only get better, but they did. And Middlesbrough should have thrived. It was a better place to live, and the quality of life was better. But it should have thrived, and it never. It just was better. And then when we've got this, we ended up with the Lib Dems who went into coalition. And things started to look up for a small time, like, oh, they're actually going to do something different this time. But they didn't. And now we're at a stage now where people who are unemployed, they actually, you'll see them shaking because they have to make what used to be on the dole. You become unemployed, you just automatically get the dole because you've lost your job. Now it's like, why have you lost your job? How much money have you got in the bank? Do this, do that, do the other. So when you lose your job, it's harrowing. It's enough in itself losing your job, but then when you've got to worry about getting benefits you're entitled to, that starts playing on people's mind, and that's why obviously mental health is also a big problem in this area as well. People just don't feel safe.
Passionately said, Lee. I'm conscious we haven't got much more time, do we, Anne? I want to find out about the police box. I need to find out about this police box.
Can I just say we've got time for Lee Garvey and Telly Norfolk.
We have a question for you, Lee. Come in. Come on, Anne, give him a question.
I'm trying to, Martin. I'm trying to. Telly says, could you ask Lee if he could have one wish for the children of Middlesbrough, one thing he could implement with a magic wand, without committee and paperwork, what would you wish for?
It's been done. It's already been done. We've got Sue Butcher in charge of Children's Services. She's the director. And we've got the Deputy Mayor, Anthony High, who is overseeing it from a political point of view.
Well, there you go. That's the question answered. And also as well, before you actually go, tell us this about Zoom, because you've embraced Zoom, haven't you, this month?
Yeah, well, I was doing it I thought every now and again I do online ward surgery. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss. Obviously, it depends who's about. And I just let people know, look, I'm here. If you want a phone, you want to inbox, I'm here. Let's do this. Because even the surgeries we were doing face to face before the pandemic, not many people turned up. So we were trying to get our heads together to find out what we were doing wrong. Let's see if we can solve it by changing places. We were going to start doing it all different areas. So I thought, right, okay, I'm on this. We've got WebEx for the council. I'm here in this exact spot most days, every day. So what can I do? I'll put a Zoom link on, and if anybody wants to join me, they can speak to me face to face. And 3 people did, and a good chat later, and 1 or 2 problems solved, and stick a few requests in and sorted. But it's all about being it's visible and available to the people of the ward. Now I can't go. I have diabetes, so it's difficult for me to get out and get anywhere. But if it wasn't for the pandemic, we were out and about in the ward. We'd walk around. Myself and Councillor Jones would drive around, make sure we got all the areas, all the fly tipping. So now it's about being available to people, and people know me. People phone me. My number's everywhere. My face is everywhere. The videos are there. Donna knows half of the ward. She's related to most of them. She'll kill me for saying that. But it feels like she's related to most of them, because she's the go-to. People in the ward for Donna. And she's not as she's not as forthcoming with the videos and the online as me. But I tell you what, that lady works hard.
And I just want to publicly say, Mark Hawken has said, could you please thank Lee for us at the White Feather Project? So a huge thank you from the White Feather Project. And before we let you go, we were chatting before you came on air about a post that you'd had in your Facebook feed, and Lewis Foster had said, when are the grounds getting sorted out, and where the quote club used to be in Pallister Park. Tell us a little bit about that, because that just shows how dogged determination you are to actually sort things out for your local community.
Well, the Kite Club site, it was demolished, and it was left a state after it had been demolished. But because of certain covenants on the ground and the fact that it was a electric station on the premises, the area itself seems to have been hard to sell or use for other things. But it was left basically. I mean, you could still see the hole where the cellar was. That's how bad it is, and it still is that bad. So I went along and I tried with the council to get it sorted, and I'd asked them what they were doing with the owner. I found out who the owner was. I sorted him out. The solicitor from Birmingham and Newcastle and all over. And I emailed him constantly, asking him to do stuff. What's he going to do with it? Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this gentleman got in touch with the council and asked the council to ask me not to contact him directly anymore. I don't think he gets democracy.
Well, the thing is,
he might have taken out an injunction again to Lee.
It was coming.
But because the thing is, Lee, is that when people actually say there's a problem here, you don't just text the council, do you?
No. At the end of the day, if there's a problem, I need a solution. And then once the solution is being found, I need to know why the problem was there in the first place. That's all. We're here to make the council run better. So it's not just about getting stuff done and looking good. It's about saving resources, saving money. Can I do this in a way where it saves the council money? I'm not just going to send someone a text for them to deal with it. I'm going to phone the people directly. And once we get to the bottom of it and we sort the problem out, find out why the problem was there in the first place. Because if you can find out why the problem was there in the first place, you're likely to save money next time. It's not, I'm no academic by any stretch of the imagination, but it's 101.
Well, all I'll say, Lee, is that you're working on to becoming an academic with the lockdown schooling at the moment. Martin, before we say goodbye to Lee, is there anything else you would like to ask him?
Yeah, the police box. What's happening about the police box?
When I was a kid, when I was a kid, we lived in Holborn. Drive at the top of Park End, not far from where I am now, actually. And we used to walk to school, St. Pius. And on the way to school, there was this slab of concrete with paving slabs going around it. And at the end, there was this, one of those big metal bars that goes through concrete, and it being smashed back into the ground. And my dad used to tell me it was a police box like Dr. Who. So it was a TARDIS. So we never believed him because obviously
I've covered him one many a time.
but and we didn't believe him. We never believed him. And then when somebody said, actually, yeah, it's a police box, and the fact that even now to this day it's still there, the surface where it was is brilliant. Just on the road that I live on. And I asked in Memories from Middlesbrough, does anybody have a picture of this in situ? And I got one. And it was a little chappie over the road on the green over the road, and in the background this police box. And nothing's changed. I think it was all 30 odd years ago. Nothing had changed.
Brilliant. Well, the power of the internet. That's all I can say. The power of the internet, bringing communities together.
Oh, well, Lee, thank you so much for coming on. And thank you so much for everybody who's either asked questions and also just said how fabulous you are. And it's really nice to actually pass on the lovely comments, because being a counsellor, you can also be up for a lot of stick and hassle from residents, can't you?
Yeah, and do you know what? I'll always say, look, if it was my fault, I'll take the blame. Yeah. But I'm not one for taking the blame for when it's not my fault, and I refuse to, because if you accept the blame when it's not your fault, you're doing it to please somebody. Mm-hmm. And if somebody blames me for something, I'll go and find out who is to blame. And that's what being, that's what being a counsellor is all about. It's finding solutions to problems. And if somebody thinks you're the problem, go out and find the solution and show them it and say, look, this isn't me. He is the problem here. This is what we need to do, and we can start doing it. If it really bothers you that much, we'll get together and we'll sort something out. But it's definitely been an eye opener being a counsellor. So yeah. But thanks for having me on. It's been fun.
Oh. Thank you so much for coming on, and huge thank you, because you have really just you've been chatting away for 30 minutes, and it's just been so lovely finding out, and it's so positive as well. So thank you so much for coming on. And will you come on in a couple of months' time and give us an update on Zoom and everything else and children's services?
I certainly will. I mean, I think we'll have much better news on children's services. I think that the Zoom thing should pick up now, hopefully in the coming, come on in the summer, I'll be busy with weddings as well. Hopefully, get some of them weddings done for our brides, because I know a lot of people have there's a lot of poverty. There's a lot of there's people who've lost people through this pandemic. And there is a real negative side to COVID. But one little pocket of people who've been slightly forgotten are those girls who've been waiting for that big day for, since they were little girls, and they couldn't do it last year.
What about the fellas? They've been waiting as well.
Blokes don't care. Blokes turn up. Literally, I'll tell you one story before I go. I was sat talking to a bride and groom. And I said to the groom, the bride, I said, "Can I have your mobile number?" And he went, "No, take mine." I said, "No, I want the bride's number." He said, "No, take mine. She never answers her phone." I said, "Right, okay." So I took his number. A couple of weeks later, phoned him, needed to know something. He said, "Oh, don't ask me, you have to ask her." I said, "I know, that's why I want to get her phone number." Blokes don't care. They just turn up. Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Lee. You're a star. You take care, and fingers crossed you'll be back to the photography and making lots of people happy at weddings soon. So take care, my lovely.
Thank you very much. Night, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye. Oh, what a lovely man. What a lovely man.
I like him.
Oh, we do. We really entertaining. And we also love Telly Norfolk as well. What a lovely lady. Oh,
Yeah, I've been putting in loads of messages. And there's another one we love as well. What's her name? Laughing Yoga Glenda.
oh, Laughing Yoga Glenda. She's there. I'm going to unmute. Oh, yeah, you're there. Hello, my love.
Hello. Hello, how are you?
Oh, well, we're well. Just to let everybody know that whilst we were chatting to Lee, we were trying to sort out your sound work with Glenda. So we think
Is it
we've
any
got it
better?
sorted. Yeah, it is. It's much better. Everyone, because we're all coming from home, there is it's all down to people's internet and communications on the net, and so sometimes if the sound isn't very good, we apologize, but that's just purely the internet. Now, drum roll, everybody, we are going to be talking haggis, and I'm just going to leave the feed very quickly to go and get my haggis. So we're going to talk about haggis. Martin, start us off on haggis.
Okay, well, we're coming up to Burn Night. Burn Supper on Tuesday, the 25th. The anniversary
Martin,
of Burn
what is
Supper.
that?
That was the remains of what I've had today, because I've had my Burn Supper early. That's my haggis, neat and tatty. That's my whiskey, and my Quannacan was absolutely divine.
I like the stuff in the glass better. I think that looks a bit tastier.
It looks right.
I think the stuff in the glass looks a bit tastier.
Well, I've drank too much about this afternoon, so we won't go into that. And I've drank quite a bit. But this is absolutely divine.
Well, can I just say before we start, everybody, we are going to be talking about haggis and Burns Night. Now, Martin started eating his. Glenda, you've got haggis that has been warmed up. Can you pass that over?
It's been boiled.
It's been boiled.
It's been boiled for 45 minutes.
Okay, and I currently have haggis in its wrappings.
Excellent, good. So we can do the whole process.
We can do everything. And because the thing is how easy is it to go and get haggis? Because I literally went to a couple of shops. So how easy has it been, everybody, to get haggis? Martin?
Very easy. I mean, we normally go to a farm shop and we get McQueen, but we went to Tesco. And if you look on our Facebook page, I posted a picture of a meal I had this afternoon. And if people think haggis is, highfalutin, whatever, the meal cost us, we calculated £2.25 each. That's how much it cost. The haggis, neat, tatties, Quannacan. Okay, I've left the whiskey out the equation. But, it's not an expensive meal, but it's full of goodness. It's hearty goodness. It's full of good nutrition. And let's face it, it was originally an English dish with the cut stone. So, it's bound to be good.
Martin.
Martin.
Oh,
yeah.
Did we steal it or did you just not want it?
Oh, no. We wanted it because in 1430, it was put in our first recipe book in Lancashire. And then in 1615, in the book The English Housewif by Gervase Markham, more recipes appeared. But you got it by that point. We're coming across the border and you saw this lovely food, so you took it home. And then you got your poet, Robbie, to write something about it. And that became your dish, you see. So we don't mind. We share things, we English.
Martin, I think what actually happened was in 1430, it was in your written paperwork. I totally agree. Now, it wasn't our national dish till 1783, which is more than 300 years later. So I think the English had long enough to do something. You had 300 years
I've just muted
to
Glenda.
make something of it.
Oh,
Okay.
you haven't mooted it. You were coming up with a sterling defence there of why Scottish did. I mean, you know, it wasn't until Robbie Burns actually adopted it that the Scottish even know it was there.
Well, can I just say everything?
300 years.
Team, you can't talk at the same time. You have to stop purely because it distorts all the sound. So, Martin, you are eating.
Right.
Okay, Martin, you are eating vegetarian haggis, aren't you?
No, this is my meat one. Janet, my good lady, she eats vegetarian, and the vegetarian haggis didn't come about till 1984. But it now accounts for something like 40% of all haggis sales. So, you know, originally evolved as the offal, the remains of the sheep that was just wrapped up in the animal's stomach lining. It's actually very vegetarian. In fact, in America, they banned the inclusion of sheep lungs in it, and they banned the use of an animal carcass on it. So it's all pure vegetarian type. So great stuff, great for vegetarians, but yeah, mine's a meat one.
Well, I actually have both options here, everybody. I've got the vegetarian and I've also got the normal one. And both of these came from Aldi. Lidl are not stocking them. You'll find that a lot of the shops will only actually have them for certain times of the year, meaning now, whereas you can get this all year round in the northeast of England. I don't know about...
Slices.
Pardon?
Haggis slices. Is that what it is?
Haggis slices to go with your lawn sausage. Lawn sausage? Do you eat lawn sausage, Glenda?
Yeah, but you need to call it square sausage.
No. Yeah. So, Glenda, you've got a vegetarian haggis, haven't you?
I do. I have, in all its glory, not been stabbed yet. It's hot, but it's not yet been stabbed. I thought I'd keep that for when we come out with the address to the haggis, we could stab it at the same time.
Okay. So, Martin, I am going to mute Glenda because I think we've still got a problem with the sound, Glenda. So, Martin, are you addressing the haggis for us and tell everybody why we actually address the haggis? And then obviously we'll...
Okay, I bow to Scotland because I'd like Glenda to do the address, but I will tell you how it came about. It comes about because of Scotland's national poet, Robbie Burns. Now, he's a fascinating person. Born in, I think it was 17 something. He was only 37-year-old when he died, but he packed so much into his lifetime. Glenda's throwing fingers up at me, and I can't remember what it's saying there. But anyway, he lived to the age of 37. Okay, and he was a fighter for the common man, but he was employed by the excise agency, taking taxes off the common man. He believed in Scottish nationalism, but he was the man that wrote A Man's a Man for All That and talked about international brothers, okay, across the world. He was a really complicated man. More complicated of all, he wrote tons of poetry, and he wrote it in what was Lowland Scottish, which even the Scottish Highlanders didn't understand, and the English certainly didn't understand. But he became incredibly popular, and he wrote a poem to the haggis. So every night, on the anniversary of his birth, not his death, because he's a poet that's all about living and life, on the anniversary of his birth, 26th of January, we celebrate Burns. He's the only, as far as I'm aware, he's the only writer that has a national annual day with a supper with food in it. Shakespeare doesn't, Tolstoy doesn't, so it's unique. And the ode to the haggis is part of a ritual of a supper in which he sends out his praise of what he calls the great pudding chieftain of the race. He talked about it being the best pudding you could possibly a savoury pudding in front of you. So with that introduction, Glenda, are you going to do the ode to the haggis?
Well, can I add an extra bit here, Martin, as well? So if anybody wants to go and stay on the banks of the River Nith, where Robbie Burns used to live, there's a place called Friars Castle, which is, I don't think you can see that, unfortunately. It's in Dumfries and Galloway, and it's a really, really lovely country house hotel, but it's an affordable one to go and stay at. And you can also go fishing there as well. So worthwhile. It's an old gith in Dumfries, and it really is worthwhile going to. Now, Glenda did say that Robbie Burns was born on the 25th of January 1787. Is that correct, Glenda? And I'm going to take you off mute.
No.
He died, or
he was born in
Burns
1759 and he died on the 21st of July 1796.
Okay, so Glenda, you're going to talk to us and tell us a little bit about what you're going to do. And will you pull your screen down so everybody can see the haggis? The haggis, because at the moment we can't see the haggis, or you're going to have somebody holding it on a plate for you while you stab it.
I could just stab it like that.
Watch your fingers. Watch your fingers. Oh, please don't.
Now, the address to the haggis has got a bit services. Oh, where's my sound gone?
I think you're
Do you want all verses?
No, just the introductory bit, just the one, the great pudding chieftain of the race, or whatever it is.
I just want the first verse.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair fire, honest, sonsy face, great chieftain o' the pudding race, aboon ye tak your place, pinch, tripe, or thorn. Weel, are ye worthy o' the grace, as long's my arm?
Are you going to stab it, Glenda? Yes, go for it.
It's getting stabbed. Can I just say, right, that the best place actually to get a haggis is in Sedgefield.
Okay, where?
Sedgefield Butchers is the best butcher going for haggis. 98 pence a haggis, and it'll feed a family of 4.
And
right,
also,
I get my spoon.
And can I also say as well, is that if you don't want to have neeps and tatties with your haggis, what they do in Scotland is, because my friend does it, they'll have a bit of pasta with it, and it makes a great pasta sauce as well. So, as Glenda's looking,
that's wrong.
My daughter is going to be having haggis on pizza.
There you go.
How about that? So
yes.
Just try any version of it. Yeah, exactly. So great stuff.
I can do haggis on a pizza, no problem. Little haggis balls on a pizza, margherita pizza, sorted, but not with pasta. And that's wrong.
Yeah, it's okay. It does taste good. So, whilst everybody's enjoying their pasta, Martin, what else is happening in the community?
Oh, right. Okay. Well, coming up next week is a very important week because it's Holocaust Memorial Day on Wednesday or Thursday, the 27th. And it's a national annual day which commemorates the Holocaust in the Second World War, when 2 million Jews and more were sent to their death. But it also takes into account modern versions. So there's a lot of events commemorating, looking at modern genocide, etc. And so coming up in Stockton and Middlesbrough next week, so on Monday the 25th, from Middlesbrough Library, we have Eva Sloss, who is if you've heard of Anne Frank and the diaries from Amsterdam when she was hidden away, she's the sister of Anne Frank. And she's going to be 7 p.m. on Monday the 25th from Middlesbrough Library on air. On Tuesday the 26th, there is Joan Salter, MBE, who is a Holocaust survivor, and she's at 7 o'clock, and she's going to give her testimonial, an amazing story. Earlier that day on 2 o'clock, oh, I'm waving a hand.
Martin, can we give a preview to the listeners of what we're actually doing at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon?
Yes, they're absolutely right. Listeners might remember that last year, Anne and I were able to interview Gabrielle Keenagan, a Holocaust survivor, amazing lady. This year, we've got another lady, Joan Salter, an amazing story of how she was 3.5 years old, escaped the Holocaust and sent to America. Her family were chased across Europe, and we're going to interview her tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock so we can get it on air and we can share it with all our wonderful listeners.
And that's coming next Thursday night, everyone. So, and we're also going to be putting that out separately as well. So, Martin, what else is coming on?
Well, next Wednesday at 2 o'clock, I'm giving a talk on, you may think all this is happening somewhere else. In the 1930s, loads of refugees, Jewish refugees, found a home in Teesside. So I'm giving a talk at 2 o'clock on Wednesday the 27th. And then everybody, 8 p.m. on the 27th. The theme this year is Shine a Light in the Dark. And let's face it, there have been dark times lately. And there were dark times throughout history. So they've been asked at 8 o'clock on the Wednesday the 27th to light a candle, put a light in your window, shine out in the darkness. Everybody can take part. All you need to do is go online, Holocaust Memorial Day, find the link, register, and then light the candle.
Well, we'll definitely be doing that, Martin, next week. And is there anything else coming up next week? And obviously next Thursday, we will have the interview that we're doing tomorrow. So is there anything else?
I'm sure there's loads of things going on, and I'm just going catching up with them all. I'm chasing my tail here.
You carry on eating that, Martin, and don't forget, have a little sip of that little beverage you've got there. Is that a single malt, and is it Irish or is it Scottish?
Well, I was trying not to tell you all, but it is Irish because I actually love Irish whiskey.
I know, that's why I asked.
It's Scottish whiskey in my Cranachan. If you don't know what that is, it's a wonderful dessert involving raspberries and cream, traditional dessert with oatmeal in it. There's pictures of it on the CBFM website, on the Facebook page, and that is flavoured with whiskey.
And talking of things that are flavoured, what's in your glass, Glenda, this evening?
I have some rainwater off the Forth Road Bridge.
Yes. And what's that?
I have some iron brew.
Oh, we love iron
Good
brew.
old iron brew.
Iron brew.
And if anybody wants to actually go and have a look on Twitter at Iron Brew's commercials, they are one of the most entertaining commercials out there. And talking of Twitter, yesterday, the inauguration of President Biden. And there's actually a Twitter account called President Biden's Inauguration, and it actually has everything from the start of the day right through to the end. And they had Lady Gaga singing the national anthem, which was just fabulous. Gareth Brooks singing. They had Jennifer Lopez. There was this finale with one of the Katy Perry, and she was singing Fireworks, and literally behind her was the most spectacular firework display that I have ever seen. If you think New Year's Eve in London, in Sydney, around the world. Just put all those together and watch that firework display with Katy Perry in the front of it, singing. And it was truly, truly a memorable day too. And so definitely go on to Twitter and go and have a look at the President Biden's inauguration. It's a special feed.
I'll have to have a look at that, because I bet the security people were having kittens, weren't they, with all the fireworks going off after everything they've had lately?
Oh, do you know something? Can I just say, it was, I have never seen so many fireworks, and it was it truly spectacular. Just go and have a look at it. Definitely go and have a look at it. Talking about things for young people, because I know Glenda and I have been talking about mentioning lots of things about young people. Magic Breakfast are looking for 10 young people to join them as youth campaigners to bring youth and experienced voices to the forefront of campaigning against food insecurity and in support of equal opportunity education. So magicbreakfast.com/youth campaigners. And just to give an update about Magic Breakfast, they can now support 167,000 children across the country every day. And it's 3 times as many children as they did last year. I've also been looking as well at the where have we? Your Youth Focus Northeast. Go and check them out on Facebook. And we are actually going to ask one of their representatives to come on to the community show. They have got so many different things that are going on at the moment. And there's an invitation from the Northeast Youth Alliance for young people to join them to share their opinions on their local area, services and organisations and how they could be improved. Now, there's sessions and they're for young people aged from 11 to 14. And the first one's Wednesday, the 27th. Then there's one on Friday, the 29th. And then the sessions from young people from the ages of 15 to 25. That's Wednesday the 27th and Friday the 29th. And just contact Emma. You can get all the details from Facebook/Youth Focus Northeast. So it's there's and also as well is that the Co-op Foundation have awarded them £69,889 to East Middlesbrough community spaces to support young people to design, develop and deliver their own social action projects. So that's just great news, isn't it, Martin? He's sitting there eating. And Glenda. Oh, Martin's muted himself. Martin, you need to unmute yourself, my lovely. Glenda, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice that they're able to support all the kids, and it's just at the same time sad that they have to.
Pardon?
Can I just say quickly, I'm saying it's nice that these projects are there to support, but it's just really sad that they have to be there to support.
It's a double-edged.
It's nice that we've got the ability.
It's a double-edged thing, isn't it? There's a lot of people in need, but it is good that people are stepping up to the mark and providing that support and helping people out. So, yeah, cheers to them.
And Middlesbrough as well.
Absolutely.
And we've had Anthony he's come on before and mentioned about the Middlesbrough and the young people and the engagement that the council have got with young people. So going forward, it's really, really important. So it's 7 o'clock, everybody. And we're actually going to be going off. We're going to say goodbye to Glenda because she needs to swap the internet because her son at 7 has Zoom with cadets. So we're going to say goodbye to you, Glenda. We'll see you next week, my lovely. And enjoy Burns Night. Yeah, enjoy it on the
Well,
25th, my love. Goodbye. Oh God, that was fast. She's off. She's off.
You've gone.
So tomorrow, Martin, we are back. We're going to be doing our first of our pre-records. We are looking to doing more pre-records and actually putting them out as just separate interviews, because we know that not everybody can actually get to see us and join us on an evening. So if you'd like to come onto the community show, just have a chat with us. Come and send a message on CVFM Radio, Facebook direct message, and come and join us. And at the moment, we're starting to do a lot more of these, aren't we, Martin?
We are, because I mean, the interview we did with Garvey last year was phenomenally successful. I think it 2,500 or 3,000 or something views, and most of those are after the event. And I find during lockdown, I'm looking at things, and I'm thinking, you've just said about Joe Biden's inauguration. Well, I was busy, but I'm going to go now, and I'm going to find that, and I'm going to watch it in my own time and enjoy that firework display. And people are doing that. So if we start putting things out like that, we can share good news about the community. So, if you're out there and you've got a story, let us know. We want to know.
Yeah, and also as well is that the BBC iPlayer, going back to what Martin has just been saying about the next week and Holocaust, etc. There is a 3-part program on the rise of the Nazi Party from 1931, and it is absolutely fascinating, a real insight. And they have also had the people that they've actually had as guests to talk about it as well. I've also talked about the 21st century, and it's a very, very interesting watch. I don't know if you've seen that, Mark.
The parallels are definitely there.
They are. But anybody out there, if you would like to come on to the community show, we are looking for guests. We always want guests to come on, because at the end of the day, this is your show to share what's going on in our community, in your community. We want everybody to share what's going on. It's about your community, and come and share and send a message.
Exactly, because we want to know your good stories as well. We want to know about it. So, get in touch with us and we'll make arrangements. You may not be available at 6 o'clock on a Thursday night, but we can get to you. We can record it and then share your good news with the community.
Yeah, definitely. Well, goodbye, everybody. And you can now have a little bit more of your fire water. Oh, my goodness, you've drank it. Anyway, on that note, we'll have to go, so you can go and top your glass up.
Have a wonderful burn night.
Take care, everybody. See you next week at 6 o'clock next Thursday. Goodbye.
Bye.